please welcome Alyssa. Oh, come on up, all three of you.
All right. Like she said, my name is Alyssa Ahlgren. I do political commentating. Like everyone else is a political commentator. I am a journalist for Alpha News Minnesota. All of my politics is on the side. I'm a corporate financial analyst as a full-time job for a pharmaceutical benefits management company. So it gets really, really busy. But I'm blessed to be busy, and I'm blessed to be here. Thank you so much to Julia for inviting me and for everyone at Eagle Forum who put this on. This is an incredible event. I'm going to be completely honest, though. I cannot believe I'm standing up here talking about socialism in modern society. We all are talking about socialism and communism and trying to convince younger generations that it's a really, really bad idea. It's 2020. We live in a time where, since the advent of capitalism, the world's GDP has gone up somewhere around 15,700%. We live in a time where global poverty rate is at an all-time low of 10%. We live in a time where over half, just last year we broke it, over half. So a majority of the world now lives in either wealth or middle class. That's insane. A majority of us are not poor by global standards. We live in a time where we can go buy goods online that were considered luxuries. We live in a time where we have unlimited access to information and we're so well connected. And yet, we are still seeing a rise in popularity of socialism. We have an actual communist that's leading the Democratic Party. But let's contrast this. We live in unparalleled peace, prosperity, but let's contrast this. My mother is from formerly communist Yugoslavia. I am fortunate enough to have her as an example of what it's like, what American exceptionalism looks like post-socialism. And that's the issue with our generation, with my generation especially. We don't look back at history and say, okay, what can I learn from this? We think about the here and now. Let's look at now and how do I feel about it? And that's how I'm gonna make my decisions. So like I said, I'm lucky enough to have an example in my mom. And so she grew up in the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. And it wasn't as bad as China or the Soviet Union, but the government still had a large foothold on individual rights and liberty. So basically, if you wanted to get ahead and you wanted to have a good job and you wanted to go to a good college, you needed to be a member of the Communist Party. And if you weren't a member of the Communist Party, you were treated as a second-rate citizen. And communist membership came with a price. So if you were part of the Communist Party, you had to just say goodbye to religion. You could not practice, you could not be affiliated with any type of religion. In fact, my mom had a cousin who got engaged to a member of the Communist Party, and she was Catholic. And in order to get married, they had to sneak out in the middle of the night and go to a church just to get married in a church. And that's how the government retains control. Socialism is about mitigating success. It's about mitigating the individual. And my grandfather owned a business over there, and the government had to mandate his business to only have 6 employees. That's what socialism is. Socialism is controlling the individual in order to control the collective. Government is in every single aspect of your life. And there's no way to get around it unless you open the doors to free market, unless you open the doors to capitalism. And the biggest tools, like I said, of socialism are control, and through that you get fear and paranoia. I have another story. Again, my grandfather, after work, decided to go get drinks with his friends, and they were having a good time. They were, not sober, and so he decided, he had enough. He was going to go up and leave, but he had to crack a joke before, because that's my grandpa. And so he said, I'm going to go hang Tito. And Tito was the president for life, aka dictator of Yugoslavia at the time, and everyone had a picture of him in their home. So he was going to hang a picture of him. And he said, making a joke that he was funny, like, I'm going to go hang Tito. The next day, he had police officers at his house who arrested him and took him to jail. He was among friends. He shouldn't have had to worry. But there's so much fear and paranoia in a socialist, communist state that one of his friends told the authorities, and he got brought to jail. Luckily, he was able, after a few days in jail, he was able to plead his case to the court and be released. But that's what it is, fear and paranoia. That's how you control the collective. And socialism, my mom's family didn't leave Yugoslavia and immigrate to the US because socialism didn't work. She and her family moved to the US because socialism did work. And the obsession with federalizing and socializing industries and destroying individualism, it comes with a price, and that price is freedom, prosperity, and autonomy. And my grandfather knew if he stayed in Yugoslavia that his kids were not going to get the opportunities that they would have here. They were not going to get to choose a career they wanted to go into. They weren't going to get to go to a school they wanted to go to. They weren't going to get the job that would provide them a secure future. My mom always told me growing up that when she heard the words USA, she quite literally thought the land of opportunity. That's not a cliche. That's exactly what she thought, that if she came here, she could work hard and make something of herself. And people over there still think that. My mom's entire family, besides her immediate family, is over there, and that's what they think. Granted, I love visiting them because they think I'm a celebrity, because it's funny. That bar's real high. Sometimes if I want to go boost my ego, I just take a trip. But the fact is, hard work in her mind equaled success. Being a party affiliation, being a part of the Communist Party didn't equal success. So why, with all of this, why with so many examples of socialism and communism around the world, it's been tried in every corner of the globe, and it has failed in every corner of the globe. Why are we having, according to a YouGov poll that was conducted last October, do we have 72% of millennials willing to vote for a socialist candidate? We have 36% of millennials who have a favorable view of communism, and we have 43% of millennials who think that the Communist Manifesto better guarantees freedom and equality more than the Declaration of Independence. Why in the world, again, do we have Bernie Sanders, an open socialist, as a frontrunner for the President of the United States in the Democratic ticket? It's because what we're doing as proponents of freedom and prosperity and capitalism is not working. So not quite a year ago, this was about March of last year, I decided to get into politics. And I did so through writing. I have never written before. I picked it up, just randomly out of the blue. I was seeing what was going on, and I just had to say something. So there's one article sort of struck a chord, and it's called Thoughts from a Hipster Coffee Shop, because I literally wrote it from a hipster coffee shop in a super liberal area, because it just seemed very ironic to me. And it was a response to AOC saying that my generation has come of age never seeing American prosperity. And so this got, oh my gosh, when I read that quote, I was, let's do this. So the article mentioned that our poverty line starts 31 times above the global average, that virtually no one in this country is poor by global standards, and that the United States has used its freedom and prosperity to lift more people out of abject poverty and to spread more democracy than any other nation on this planet. and that our citizenry continually breaks records for charitable donations. We have the strongest purchasing power in the world, and we encompass 25% of the world's GDP. This article was translated and shared around the world. I still get messages to this day of people reading it for the first time. Actually, last night it was so cool. I was laying in bed and this lady from Scotland messaged me saying she just had a friend share it to her, and a lady from South Africa said her daughter shared it. And it was just, it's just mind-blowing. This Fox News got a hold of it. Rush Limbaugh read it on his show, and Freedom of Economic Education and American Enterprise Institute, among others, republished it. And I'm not saying this to just boast at all. I'm saying this because why in the world did this article go viral? Millions of articles are printed every single year, and millions go unnoticed. And that's because this focus was on our success. The article focused on our prosperity. It was the message that wasn't about why socialism is evil and why we should avoid it. It was about why we are prosperous and how to keep it. And that's what we need to do. The fact is, negativity doesn't sell. Fear through facts does not sell. Positivity sells. Emotion sells. And it's about what's in it for me. That's just a very millennial, Gen Z thing. What's in it for me? What do I get? And yes, we should talk about the destruction of socialism. Absolutely, we can't avoid that. And we need to talk about, gimme, what do I get? Because that's what the so-called democratic socialists do, and it's working. But the fact is, we don't also have the emotional and empathetic case, we have the rational one as well, and we need to use that to our advantage. And we need to play this game. We need to play this game as much as we don't want to. Again, it's emotional. And it's appealing to feelings, and the only difference is, like I said, we have the rational case. So what's in it for me? You get to keep this country. That's what's in it for you. You get to keep a booming economy. You get to keep your freedom. So instead of solely focusing on socialism and how to avoid it, we need to focus on what we have now and how to keep it. Sorry, I got on a tangent. So we need to shift the paradigm. We need to shift the paradigm of the conversation. Our message is not tax cuts. Our message isn't a rise in the stock market. Our message is we are standing on the shoulders of people who accomplished so much more than we could ever imagine, and we're benefiting from this day, and we're acting like we earned it. We're acting like we made it. So what can we do? Write an article. That, you never know where that goes. Blog, speak out, have conversations to your friends and family, have conversations with people that you just don't think would agree with you, but you think it would be constructive. I have a show, it's called Be a Voice. It's not called Be an Opinion. Everyone has one of those. No one cares. Be a voice means you have purpose with every word you say. Being a voice means your opinion is backed up by truth, it's backed up by logic, and it's backed up by fact. And that every conversation you have is made with the purpose of changing hearts and minds, not just to offend for the sake of offending. It is our job to uphold what we have had built for us. And we all need to be a voice. That's what each and every one of us needs to do. That's our message. And that's what I have today. Thank you.
Thank you.